Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ariyani Indriastuti, a doctoral student in Deep University. And in this occasion, I have opportunity to discuss with you all about my latest research about bank performance in profitability dimension. What external factors and why does it affect? As we know, banks have played so many roles for economic sustainability. According to Law Number 10 of 1990 Act regarding banking, it is concluded that the banking business includes three activities: collecting funds from the public in the form of savings, channeling funds to the public in the form of credit, or other forms to improve the standard of living of the community. In carrying out its activities, banks have benchmarked to measure whether a banking company is considered good or not, and we can call it as performance. Bank performance has two factors: internal factors and external factors. Internal factors are circumstances or events that are influenced by matters from within the bank itself and still under the control of a bank's management. Meanwhile, external factors are the opposite of internal factors, which are influenced by things from outside the bank and outside the management control of a bank. And each factor has its own risks in influencing the performance of bank. External factors are riskier than internal factors because they are unpredictable and cannot be controlled arbitrarily by bank management. The economic growth of a country, the inflation rate, and the interest rate are the external factors that affect the bank's performance both in quality and quantity. In measuring bank performance, the most appropriate measure is to measure the ability of banks to generate profits from various activities carried out. And in this paper, the dimension of bank performance that will be discussed more frequently is the increase in profitability. And the focus of this research is external factors. Profitability has a measure that is used as a proxy, namely return on assets and return on equity. And the aim of this research is to provide an overview and know the effects that cause a bank's performance to rise or fall so that the bank is able to reduce risks and create effective and efficient solutions. This is the theoretical review. Bank performance. Bank performance has dimension and indicators. The dimension of bank performance is divided to be two: profitability and risks as a proxy, and indicator is divided into two: quality and quantity. Profitability, we can measure profitability with ROA, return on assets, and ROE, return on equity. And to measure risks, we can use LDR, loans to deposit ratio, and CAR, capital adequacy ratio. This paper draws several journals and articles, both nationally and internationally, from platforms that support research publications to seek related theories, collect data, and enrich the point of view of each reference author studied. In this paper, we use secondary data so that it can be more generalizable, because the study is to provide an overview of an influence by looking at sources from previous research. This is the research model. Just like I said, bank performance has two factors, internal and external. Meanwhile, focus in this research is to talk about external factor. And external factor in this paper, we talk about profitability. While, just like I told you, that profitability we can use return on assets and return on equity. And from this indicator, we seek about the variables that affect them, and the variables are inflation, GDP, and interest rate. Okay. From our finding, in the first research conducted by the agency analyst study in 2015, their research is to analyze the significant influence between internal and microeconomic factors such as gross domestic product (GDP), interest rate, and consumer price inflation or CPI by considering various problem formulation and historical customs of various studies. The subject of analysis in this study using bank data that has been listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange or BEI, and each bank has complete financial reports for the period 2009 until 2013. And the results of this research are the interest rates on ROA and ROE have a positive and significant effect. The income earned from interest rate also has a positive effect on a bank interest and cost as well as that income, thus affecting bank profitability. The interest rates on ROE and ROE have a positive and significant effect. The interest rates on ROE and ROE have a positive and significant effect because when the interest rate rises, the bank's income will increase and provide benefits to the bank. And economic growth also have a positive, direct and significant effect on the result of ROE and ROE because as we know, economic growth is related to supply and demand in the market, including in the banking sector. And furthermore, there is consumer price inflation or CPI in this study. The CPI shows no significant effect on ROE and ROA and ROE. And the next research comes from Doku et al. In 2019, who examined the effect of capital structure on the profitability of commercial banks in Ghana. The result shows that the capital structure of a bank as measured by the ratio of capital to assets is a strong and positive driver for bank performance indicator. And the next research conducted by Javed and Bezer in 2017. This research is to measure the impact of interest rate and economic growth on the profitability of banks in Pakistan. And this research shows that there is a positive relationship between interest rate of ROA of 1% at a significant level. And there is also a positive relationship between the level of economic growth of country and the ROA. The results show that there is a number of 1% at a significant level. Okay, next. Another study was conducted by Lestari and Ariyani in 2019. Their research is to determine the influence of causal factors between internal and external factors on the performance effect of commercial banks in Indonesia. The results are: inflation does not have a direct effect on ROE because according to this researcher, investment given by investor or shareholders will decrease when inflation occurs. So shareholders are more interested in allocating their capital to other sectors with consideration of price and profit. And inflation and high inflation rates can also lead to economic instability and uncertainty, which may increase the risk of a bank company. And the next is economic growth or GDP has a positive and significant effect on ROE. economic growth GDP has positive because, as we know, the better a country's economic growth, the better the bank's performance. And the the next research from come from Al Hayria et al. In 2019. This research is to determine and analyze the effect of inflation and interest rates on ROA, and the result shows that inflation has no effect on the ROA of a bank, as well as interest rates that have no effect on the ROA of bank. Another unique result is that interest rate and inflation have a significant effect on ROE simultaneously. And the last research we use as discussion in this paper is from Jaber and Al-Kawaldeh in 2014. The result shows that there is a significant influence on external factors, namely inflation divided by economic growth in Jordan. So, the conclusion of this paper takes the form of a hypothesis that economic growth, GDP, on ROE and ROA has a positive and significant effect. Interest rates also have a positive and significant impact on the ROE and the ROA of a bank, according to our discussion. And our finding is explained that inflation does not have a significant impact on ROE but effects on ROA. And a unique fact obtained from one study in the discussion conclude that if inflation and interest rate work simultaneously, it can have a significant effect on the ROA of a bank. The importance of bank profitability can be assessed at the micro and macroeconomic level. So, we have suggestion. For banking management, it will be good to frequently evaluate bank performance and find out the cause and effect of internal and external factors to create solutions and innovation to anticipate slack bank performance and improve bank performance properly. A good bank performance reflects the health of a bank unit, one of which is by looking at the bank's financial performance with the dimension of profitability. Be wise in determining which companies to allocate funds to invest in. So, thank you for your attention. That's all from me. Thank you.